Most people assume that if you buy a car in cash, you're losing money because instead you could finance it and be investing the difference. What I did is a little bit countercultural because I actually bought this car outright, and I just believe that buying cars in cash is one of the best financial decisions you can make. What I'm gonna do today is I'm gonna take this car in a car wash because it is incredibly dirty, and I'm gonna just describe why your monthly cash flow is one of your biggest wealth development tools and how a car payment like this could potentially destroy it. Now, I like to go to a self-service car wash because I hate getting my driveway dirty with the car. Gotta get the wheel cleaner, of course. Stuff is awesome. All right, should be what we need. Let's get going. Gotta get a cold start though if we're gonna start this day off right. Oh baby. And my exhaust don't rattle anymore because I fixed that. Sounds so good. Let's get going. Now, I'm gonna start by prefacing that I'm no financial advisor. I'm not here to sell anybody on a course or anything like that. I'm just simply really passionate about finances, and I like cars, and I wanted to find a way to merge the two. So I'm gonna play around with this video and we'll see if it lands or not. I guess you guys tell me. But look, what a lot of people focus on is their net worth. But what wealth is really built from is it's your income minus your expenses, right? You wanna have more coming in than is going out. And the thing that a lot of us car guys really struggle with is we look at these car payments, right? We look at our monthly income as a, hey, I'm making this much money, let me go spend it all. And at some point in the future, things will work out. And it's just a pretty weak mindset because the reality is in the future, it will not work itself out. It is a habit issue for most of us. And it was a habit issue for me early on. Now I'll share a little bit of my journey, but I remember coming out of college and dreaming about buying an M car like this. In fact, the car that I wanted was really an M4, and then I drove an M2 and I just fell in love with this fun little car. So I ended up buying this car instead. But here's what happened. I graduated college. I had 80 grand of debt. My wife and I together had 80 grand of debt. My first job, I was making 50 grand a year. And that was more money than I had ever made at any point in my life. And so I figured, hey, you know what? I'm gonna go buy a car. I'm gonna go finance it. I can go afford it. And it was at that point that I just got really lucky. I was in the right place at the right time. I ended up meeting somebody that had built a pretty sizable business, created a lot of success. He was still working in supply chain analysis at that point. Today, he's no longer in that space. A full-time entrepreneur, runs a $2-3 million company. And he's not that much older than me, at least. He's about 10 years older than me. And I just remember bringing that up to him. I said, his name's Mason. I said, Mason, I'm planning on buying a $50,000 car. And he just asked me a couple of questions. He said, Tador, you have free will. You can go do what you want. But let me ask you this, how much money do you make? And I was like, well, Mason, I make 50 grand a year. He said, okay. How much does the car cost? I said, 50,000. He asked me, do you have 50,000? I said, no, I have like $200 in my bank account and 80 grand of debt between my wife and I. And he said, okay, Tador, well, here's what you can do. You can finance it. But here's what that's gonna do, is that's now gonna strip you of the ability to be able to create wealth. It's gonna strip you of the ability to get ahead in life because now your entire cash flow is gonna be tied up in a car. You're not gonna have any money left over to be able to invest, to be able to start a business, to be able to increase your cash flow. And he said, instead of thinking about buying a $50,000 car, think about purchasing things with your time, right? So for example, if you make $20 an hour and you want to go buy a $40 t-shirt, well, that t-shirt, yeah, it costs 40 bucks, but more importantly, it costs 2 hours of your life. And when Mason started to tell me at that point, he said, Tador, that $50,000 car is going to cost you 1 year of your life. And I hated the way that sounded. This thing works. Saved my booty a couple times, but baby, we are here, pulling up in our bay, and this dirty, dirty car is going to be clean once again. Let's do it. This car, let's say I would have bought it $500, $600 payment. At 22 years old when I graduated college, if I would have just invested that amount of money, that would have been worth at least $3.7 million by the time I was 65. Which means that this car, that at that time, let's say it was 50 grand, actually would have cost me $3.7 million. It would have eliminated my ability to be able to invest, My wife and I ended up starting a business. It would have completely eliminated us the ability to build a business and create what we have, which I can talk about at some other point. Nobody gets rich from having a nice car payment. People get rich from owning assets. And if you're young right now, especially, this needs to be the main focus because you have time on your side. Get that all filled up. While that's going, I'm gonna use some of this wheel cleaner. Highly, highly recommend this. It works incredibly well to get all the gunk off your wheels. You can see it turns it into this purple substance and it's just gonna fall right off. Now you just gotta make sure you soak your wheels with water first before you do this. I'm gonna put my mitt on the car there. Splash. All right, so long story short, why did I wait 7 years to then go out and buy this car? Why didn't I finance this car? YOLO, we only live once. Because here's the reality, right? I bought this car for $43,500. The reality is in 5 years, it's not gonna be worth $43,500. It's gonna be worth significantly less than that. But here's the thing, if I finance it and I have some type of interest rate, I'm not gonna end up paying $43,500. I'm gonna end up paying closer to maybe $45,000, $46,000, maybe $47,000 for a car that in 5 years will be worth 35 grand. This is a massive hidden cost, right? Insurance, depreciation, of course, all the other things, whether you finance it or not. But look, if you're young right now and you wanna have fun cars, look, I realize this is a F87 M2, it's a 2018, it's not even a new car. It's not that hard to get. A lot of you with a good income and a nice, who can afford a monthly car payment can get that. I recognize that, but here's the thing. A lot of you also have dreams and aspirations to have really, really cool cars. And unless you get your habits down right now, when you're young, this is gonna be very hard for you to continue to level up in a way where you're not financially stressed and strapped and robbing yourself of the ability to create any form of wealth. It's one thing that a lot of people just underestimate is flexibility, right? If life changes, right? You lose your job, you have some type of a medical issue, you start a business and the business slows down. The person that doesn't have car payments has options, has choice. In fact, Luke from the Outdoor Boys recently spoke at a commencement speech, and that's exactly one of the things that he talked about. He said, hey, the only reason that I created what I have is because I respected my money, because I saved my money when the other people that might have had similar opportunities didn't.
And I'm convinced it's not skill and it's not intelligence that prevented him from doing what I did. It was money. I had money in the bank and he had debts.
Some of you say, hey, financing is gonna be a lot smarter, right? Financing is gonna be a lot smarter because you can borrow maybe at 4%, which in this day and age, good luck finding a car loan for 4%. But let's say theoretically you did that, or the economy shifted and you get a 4% rate, and then you invest the rest and earn a 10%. That's great in theory, but most of you with this argument are not gonna invest that, right? If we look at statistically speaking, most of you are not gonna invest that difference. Most of you are gonna go spend things, buy wheels for your car, get parts for your car, modify your car, and it's still shooting yourself in the foot. Now listen, I love cars, that's why I bought this car, but the difference is when you buy it in cash, it just eliminates so many different struggles. Like, I'm not sitting here stressing about layoffs, like what happens if I get laid off. I'm not sitting here stressing about what happens if my business isn't as profitable as it was this month, next month, right? I'm not stressing about other things, and that's the biggest thing that I just see a lot of people, right? They're talking about finances and the money, but we're not really talking about the emotional toll, the mental toll that having debt feels. It just makes people trapped into a job that they hate or a business that they hate or whatever is the matter, right? It's the goal here is freedom. The goal here is own the car, don't let the car own you. I did replace that water, by the way, off camera. Don't flame me. Now for the final rinse, a little spot-free rinse to close us off. It's looking really nice. That is a wrap. The car is clean. Now that we're all done, I just want to show you guys the car quick. So I have 18-inch Apex VS5RS wheels. Rears are 18 by 10s. These are 18 by 9s. They're wrapped in the Michelin Pilot 4S tires. The whole car has an Expel PPF, which is what makes it look matte. Obviously, the original color is Alpine white, but the PPF gives it this matte look, which I absolutely love. It's got carbon fiber mirror caps, the side skirts, kind of the M Sport lip here, black grills, I love these floating BMW kind of Rolls-Royce-esque center caps. I did order some black emblems for the car. Obviously it has the M Performance exhaust. You guys probably saw my last video of actually fixing the rattle on that. If you haven't, you should check it out. I did order black badges twice, and I keep getting the G87 style where they're just so much bigger. They're about 20 to 30% bigger than the F87s. Never gets old. It's just too good. All right, so to give you guys something practical that you can take away from, I just want to give you guys 4 rules that I've followed. I've worked very hard to follow over these last 7-8 years, because like I said, graduated college, making 50 grand a year, 80 grand in debt, very, very close to buying this car. And the only reason I didn't is because I had a man step into my life, a mentor figure in my life that I respected and I trusted, and he was willing to speak the truth into me. Because again, I'm grateful for this car, but I got other goals, man. I want some really pretty exotic cars, and those cars cost a lot of money. And there's 2 types of people that have them. Either they're very wealthy or they're very, very broke. And I just didn't want to be the latter. I wanted to be able to actually afford the vehicle. So my first rule is this: never finance a depreciating asset, right? That's what these cars are for the most part. You buy them, they go down in value. 99% of cars will do that. The ones that go up in value, you probably can't afford, and neither can I, at least at this point. If you can, congratulations. My second rule is do not buy anything unless you can afford to pay for it twice. If you can't afford to pay for it twice, you're gonna be owned by that thing rather than you owning it, which is not a fun position to be in. It's actually a very stressful place to be in. Rule number three, build investments first. Instead of having a $500 payment, can you put that towards stocks? Can you put that towards starting some form of a business? Look, your number one wealth creation tool is your monthly cash flow. What are some of the easiest ways to increase your monthly cash flow? Get a better job. You can make another video speaking on this, how to get a 6-figure job, a well-paying job. Number 2, start a business, start a side hustle, start focusing on investments. But you want to build investments, because rule number 4, guys, rule number 4 is when you can start to pay for depreciating assets, but let your investments pay for those, not your earned income. Let your passive, your residual streams of income. That's what my wife and I did. Over these last 7-8 years, we worked very diligently, very hard alongside of our careers to build our investments, to build assets, so that we could one day be able to afford these things in cash like we have now. That's why I delayed my gratification. That's why I think it's one of the best decisions you can ever make in your life. Home sweet home. That is a wrap. And I just don't want this video to come off like I'm some financial guru. I've got it all figured out. Or you guys thinking, okay, what's this tour guy gonna sell us? Nothing like that. I just wanted to make this video because I went to my first car show on Memorial Day here in Madison, Wisconsin, and had an absolute blast. There were some really, really cool cars. There were some really awesome people, but I just wasn't very impressed with the culture there and what people were in pursuit of and what people were idolizing, right? It was just so many young kids. I mean, some of these kids were still in high school. Others were freshly graduates, and they were driving cars a lot nicer than this, just balls deep in debt. And it just makes me so sad, because for me, I was gonna be me. I was very close to being me until I just got around people that were further along, that were willing to speak truth to me, that I respected, and I realized, hey, you know what? I wanna be in their shoes. And so that's the biggest thing, okay? If you like cars like me, this has been a lifelong goal of mine. Ever since I was little, running around with a little toy car in my hand. And I was almost that guy that financed this car and was working for the car rather than the car working for me. So here's the thing. If you're a car person, if you like cars, let them motivate you. Have a dream, have a vision. I'm incredibly grateful for this car. I love it, it's beautiful. I've got other goals in addition to this car. But let that be a motivation for you to change, for you to become the man, for you to become the woman that's capable of owning something like this without being owned by it, right? Let this be a motivation rather than jumping to it right now at 18, 19, 20, in your 20s, even in your 30s. If you haven't thought about the future, let that be the motivation. Hey, go start a business. Go start figuring out how to invest. Go start figuring out how to increase your monthly cash flow. Get your finances right so you can be in the future, you're not worried about the same worries that you have now. Because I guarantee you, you go out and you make a rash emotional decision, you buy a car, you're gonna feel great. I'm telling you, I bought this car, I felt great for about 4 days. But on day 5, you know how I felt? The same person with the same anxieties and the same insecurities, looking back in the mirror. It does not bring happiness, it's fleeting. Okay, now, am I happy driving this around the block and going on fun drives? Absolutely, but more so because it's not a weight on my shoulders, more so because I'm not stressed about, can I make the monthly payment or anything like that. I don't have to worry about that. So I wish you guys that peace of mind. I hope you guys grabbed something from this video. If you did, please leave a like, subscribe. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Comment down below. And we got some really cool videos coming up, some cool modifications to this car. So like and subscribe. We will see you guys in the next video. Thanks so much for watching.